who may think of coming for me, what I thought of the ritual that was conducted on Saturday, where we saw Mama Ngina Kenyatta cut off the dreadlocks, the 70-year-old dreadlocks of the only female general in the Mau Mau, Field Marshal Muthoni. Now, before I start, I just want to issue a warning to anyone who may think of coming for me physically, spiritually, because of this message. Not even acting, thinking. Whatever you try and plan, you know my spiritual rank. Whatever you try and plan, it will befall you before sundown. This is not a joke thing. Family, something very, very serious has happened. Very, very serious. There are elders who have gotten in touch with me extremely angry, extremely emotional, saying that the 90-year-old field marshal didn't even look like herself during the ceremony. Many are like, was this a ritual? And so I'll share. There's so many dimensions to this family. One thing I can say though, is yes, it was a ritual. And the first thing that shocked everyone in the Agikuyu nation is that the First Lady did not come dressed like an Agikuyu woman. She came dressed like a Maasai woman. But it wasn't a Maasai woman, family. You see, when you wear red among the Agikuyu, it signifies a high priestess. It signifies someone who dabbles in the magic, who is a very high level dabbler in the arts. In fact, when I went to see a Modomogo, I had a red head wrap on. And he literally almost didn't see me just because of this and what the red signified. So first of all, knowing the history of what has happened, knowing that a very significant judgment is being made in favor of the Mau Mau in June, this was definitely a ritual. So first of all, Mama Ngina wearing red, family, showed that she was there for business. When I look at Muthoni, Field Marshal Muthoni, now Field Marshal is someone I've met, is someone I've sat with, is someone I've shared meals with. She's someone I interviewed when I was doing my PhD on Mau Mau women. When I looked, she didn't look herself. And it's funny because 10 years ago, she actually told me when I went to interview her, was it 10 or maybe 7 years ago? She had the same wish of cutting her dreadlocks, but her story went a bit different. She had actually wanted to meet the president, Uhuru Kenyatta, personally, to pass on a message from the Mau Mau and to kind of bless him, and to then symbolically cut her locks. There was never any mention of Mama Ngina cutting those locks, family. In fact, Mama Ngina was not talked of fondly at that time. I believe that Field Marshal, whatever the reason of why she did it, she's now 90, and I knew that this was something she wanted to do as her final chapter before she leaves this world. She had wanted to see an independent Kenya and a free Kenya. We are not independent and we are not free. Kenya is a New World Order nation, thanks to father of this nation. Secondly, we have to remember that dreadlocks signify priesthood. They carry a lot of energy and a lot of power. So, of course, one would want to cut them off and go and harvest that power to save an empire. To save an empire that cannot be saved. In fact, the funny thing is, family, I just did a video talking about how around this season, we're like in the spring season, in the New Year season, there's a lot of rituals that are carried out. We saw the Pope apologizing for the first time ever to the indigenous people of Canada. So there's been a lot of rituals that are being done now in the open. And when I looked at the ceremony, first of all, I did not feel that Field Marshal was fully there. She didn't look like she fully agreed with the arrangement. Her spirit was uneasy. But then I noticed something. You see, like they even sacrificed a goat and all these things. But I noticed that Field Marshal held a black boudoir. And that is significant. And Mama Ngina held a white boudoir, and that is also significant. Because in holding that white boudoir, whether she knows it or not, because she's part of the Catholic faith family, she's part of the New World Order, that's who she has bowed to. By carrying that white boudoir, she was declaring victory over the Mau Mau, victory over that movement that has been squashed, has been erased from our history so that we don't know that even her husband was not a Mau Mau. But those are stories for other days. So she carried the white cow whip, what we call the white boudoir. But Field Marshal, and this really surprised me, family, because at first I was like, this is a Samson, literally a Samson and Delilah moment. Like she is being stripped of her strength and her power so it can be fed to others. And if you've watched, if you're a member of my Patreon, you know, I was a member, I was not a member, but I was part of some kind of ritual like that when I was 2 years old. It has been done to a lot of young Kenyan children. Stories for other days. Today it's about Field Marshal. But I saw Field Marshal Muthoni carrying a black boudoir, family, and she was holding it upright. You see, we've become so spiritually ignorant that we can't see the signs and the symbols. But for her to hold that black boudoir, I'm surprised the handlers of Mama Ngina didn't catch that. She was actually declaring war. Because the black boudoir was carried by a very specific group of magicians. And they used to summon the spirits of Goma, as they like to say, which I grew up thinking was crazy people, but it's actually the spirit of our ancestors. But it's used to summon the dead, used to summon the energy of darkness. And I kept wondering, why did Field Marshal hold that? Did she even know what was happening? And this was before they cut her locks, which means family. But she was not saying peace had been achieved. She was actually performing her final act, declaring war. And that is what is coming to the Agikuyu Nation, family. You see, with rituals like this, it's all about timing. If this had been done last year, in an odd number year, in the year of 5, which is the year of change. The Mau Mau would have been totally decimated. They would have been erased from our history and totally forgotten. But we are in a year of balance. We're in an even year. So the ritual was done at the wrong time. And instead of being a victory, it has incurred a massive, massive, massive curse for Mama Ngina and her family. It is a massive curse that has been passed to her family. And this is a curse that can only be removed by maybe one or two people in this nation who are the hidden ones. Because what it means is that this is like the unraveling. I don't even know who advised her to do this. She just unraveled her empire. To touch the head of a Mau Mau fighter and dare to shave her locks, family. Who advised her? I know there's one woman who's trying to run for a political seat. Other women who are totally in the Catholic and the religious faith, they have no idea the kind of things they're dabbling in and the way they were just touching her locks. Like, those are sacred things. And so, family, we are about to witness a transition of Muramaki, of leadership among the Agikuyu nation. If this had not happened, if Field Marshal had not sacrificed, because whether she knows it or not, because there was even a video of her, like, because this thing has brought so much backlash, you know. There was even a video of her saying how happy she is because it's over and everything. But there was this handler, and that's one thing I noticed even when I met her 7 years ago. She had some really strange male religious handlers that always tried to steer her this way and that. But that doesn't matter, family. Whoever advised the mother of the nation